You know, whenever you go to those little taco trucks or the little carts, and sometimes they are just the best tasting food around. And not many ask, the cooks, where do they get their food from? Is it store bought? Is it homemade? And what about the meat, the protein? Where do they get it from? And when they give you what you ordered, do you believe them? Do you actually know what you're consuming? Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Amadi and with me is...
The Sleepy Grin.
And welcome to our podcast, a place where we don't shy away from the gruesome details where some things may be triggering and hard to hear. So get yourself in the right frame of mind and let's talk about dark shit.
Hey, let's do it.
For real, like he's laying down on the floor on blankets. There's some stuffies in here. A pillow. He looks so comfortable.
It's so comfortable here. It's so cozy.
So remember, before I start my case, please, if you like what you hear, give us a little click on the like button, maybe a subscribe, maybe a little follow us on our socials. We are on YouTube, Spotify, and every once in a while, TikTok and Instagram.
Please.
We are in Baltimore, Maryland, and on March 5th, 1955, a healthy bouncing baby boy was born into a family of 4 other siblings. This little boy was Joe Roy Metheny. Not much to report on his younger years other than his father, well, he was an alcoholic. And he was an abusive one as that. He would abuse his wife and the kids. And one day when he was out driving, while under the influence, he was involved in a car accident, and that left his wife to be the only sole provider of 5 children. So that already must have been so hard on Joe's mother. And because of this, she had to pick up several jobs and work overtime just to make sure all those little mouths were fed and had a roof over their heads. But just because she was away a lot, that didn't mean that she was a bad mom. She had to for those little ones. I'm not sure if her being away had anything to do with what Joe did, but around 8th, 9th grade, it was said that Joe dropped out of school and started working little jobs here and there. And in 1973, when Joe was 18 years old, he joins the army. And I think for the most part, joining the military, that is when people are in a way kind of forced to straighten out and somewhat better their lives. Being all straight and narrow.
I can see that.
So, but when he joined the army, that is when he slowly started to stop talking to his mother. That sounded weird, right?
Slowly stopped talking?
He slowly stopped talking to his mother. There.
What
right?
did you say before?
Slowly started to stop talking to his mother. I caught myself afterwards, okay?
I was like, wait, that woke me up.
Good. That was actually me trying to test you.
I was like, what is she saying over there?
So yes, after he joined the military, he slowly stopped talking to his mother. But before then, when he did talk to her, he told her that he was stationed out in Germany. And for some reason, he was telling other people, like other friends who were not in the army, that he was actually stationed in Vietnam, which a little history lesson. Remember, this is 73 when he joined. This little history lesson is mainly for myself because I had to look it up.
Okay, but I'm ready.
By the time he enlisted in the army, that was almost at the end of the Vietnam War. And by that time, since the war was almost over, there was no need for Americans to be over there. And plus, there was never any proof that Joe was in Vietnam. So what I'm basically saying is that he lied. He lied saying he was in Vietnam. And that wasn't his first lie. When he was older, he told people that his mother died when he was a child. So they all had to go live with their relatives, which, no, she was alive because when he was an adult, she was still very much alive.
Wait, so he lied?
Yeah.
Oh.
He lied. He told people that he was living with relatives when he was younger because his mom died too.
What?
That's not true.
Why would he lie?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a stupid thing to lie about. That's what I was exactly
That's a crazy
thinking.
thing to lie about. Okay.
Yeah. So that right there is, giving you little hints that he's a liar. That's what I'm getting. He's a liar. He's full blown liar.
Okay. We're getting there.
After he served some time in the army, and when he got out, he didn't really have a place to live. So he started living in the streets. And at the same time, he fell into doing some drugs. That sounds so weird to me. I cannot think. He started doing drugs. He fell into drugs.
He started doing drugs.
Do people say fall into drugs? Is that
Yeah.
a saying?
I think so. You guys, please bear with us. We are recording this like late into the night.
It's 10 o'clock.
We're both
tired.
like half asleep here.
So yeah, okay, not having a place to live, and he starts doing drugs. And he starts to do the same thing he used to do when he was a teenager, doing odd jobs here and there and just earning enough money to just to feed his habit. And the housing, since I said he was living on the streets, didn't matter because he was living in what they call tent city. So basically he was living among the homeless.
I was going to say, is that what the homeless call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was going on for several years. And then around the end of the 1980s, he was hanging out with another homeless girl who would also do drugs. And, one night they're hanging out, they did the dirty, and she ends up getting pregnant with Joe's baby. And since he was going to be a father, he decided to do the good thing and, hey, let's be a family for this little man. He ends up getting a job as a forklift driver for Joe Stein's and Sons pallet company there in Maryland. They have a little house. He has a pretty stable job, and now they have a little son. So things should start going up, right?
Yeah, I mean, good that he wasn't a scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So even though his wife had a baby, this didn't stop her drug habit. She was hardcore into them. And one day in 1995, when Joe was at work, his girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to call her, she decides to run away with a drug dealing boyfriend. And she takes the little 6-year-old too.
What? Okay, I understand if you want to go with a drug dealer boyfriend, but why take your kid with you? If you could let him have, I'm assuming, a happy life? I mean, was there any like spats?
I want to
between the
say,
two?
I don't remember hearing anything about spats or arguments or anything, but I think Joe was also doing some drugs too.
Oh.
But still, why would you want to take your baby to go do drugs? Somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a person with freaking drugs in their system. There's no making sense of what the things they think of.
You know what? Yeah, you're right.
So because of this, as you probably know, he was in shambles. He comes home to an empty house where there should be a little one running around, and he is hurt and extremely pissed. Supposedly, because of what she did, this is what started his story. Since Joe knew that she left him for a homeless drug dealer, he went searching. He went to all the homeless camps looking for revenge on his wife and that dealing boyfriend of hers, but no luck. He came to find out that her and the boyfriend got into trouble with the law. I think I read something that the drug dealer was pimping her out for money for drugs.
Her boyfriend was pimping her out? Wow. Wait. What about the child? Oh, sorry.
So because of that, they get arrested, and the little boy was placed into the foster system. And he, from what I read, never saw his son again after he was placed in the system. So this, enraged Joe. So it says that in 1995, he brought an axe with him to look for drug dealers, look for any, drug dealer, and instead found 2 homeless men who he had encountered a few times here and there, Randall Brewer and Randy Piker, where he, out of anger, allegedly chopped them to pieces. Police did go to question Joe about the murders, but there wasn't enough evidence to say it was him, so he was let go after being kept for a year and a half, even though some people do believe that he did this. Now, I'm going to skip a bit and then I'll come back.
Okay.
I'm going to go to December 15th, 1996 at 1:40 a.m. Baltimore City Police and the FBI arrest Joe at his trailer that he was living in. He was living in this trailer on the property of Joe Stein and Sons Pallet Company, the place where he worked. A couple of days prior to his arrest, a woman named Rita Kemper was casually hanging out with Joe in his trailer doing drugs. They kind of knew each other. He tried to have sex with her. She denies him. So he gets angry and tries to strangle her. But lucky for Rita, she was able to get away from him and ran out of his trailer and went to the police. While he was being looked at for what happened to Rita, he was originally being looked at for a murder of a 26-year-old Kimberly Spicer. She was a single mother who was a hard drug user, and after going to Joe's trailer to hang out, quote, quote,
Gotcha.
he stabbed her to death. A few weeks later, Joe, thinking that he has a loyal friend, asked this friend of his to move Kimberly's body where he originally buried her, and that was at his workplace property, or where he kind of lives. So even though he was being questioned about Kimberly Spicer, okay, they go to him for her, right? He immediately confesses, without them knowing anything, that he also murdered 39-year-old Catherine Magaziner. She was known as Kathy Ann, and she was supposedly a prostitute, and supposedly so was Kimberly. And she somewhat knew Joe. They frequented the same places and did the same drugs. He invites her over to his place after they get down to business, and within an hour of her arriving, he strangles her with his hands and then a cord and ends up killing her. He then buries her body in the same damn property of where he works and buries her clothes and purse in a separate location. But still, all in the same property lot. He says that 6 months later, he digs her up, decapitates her head, throws it in a trash can, and reburies her. Other reports, though, through other channels, say that when he took her head off, those 6 months later, he used it to forcibly be really nasty. I can't bring myself to say it. I don't know why.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
But we don't want to paint a horrible picture, so take with what her words are. What? No, I'm getting confused. Take her words as they are.
Take her words and the expressions she's sounding and making and paint a picture?
Yes.
Or don't paint a picture. No.
No.
Don't do that. No. Anyways, after he did that, he threw it away like it was just trash, supposedly.
Are you going to get into why it's all prostitute?
Because that's where he was kind of like hung out with those people.
Oh.
You know, like the homeless people, the tent city. They all frequented the same places, like dive bars and stuff like that.
I get it.
So I'm going to describe the property of where he was staying on and worked. Joe Stein and Sons Pallet Company is situated on a lot that is across a wooded area. They have a locked entrance gate and is surrounded by an 8-foot-high chain link fence with barbed wire on top. There are pallets all stacked high and at varying heights. There are no businesses conducted at this company or surrounding companies during the evening hours. It is also located on a dead-end street. So basically, for any murderous or devious-minded person, this place was perfect. When he was being interrogated, he did draw out a map of where he buried Kathy Ann's body. They even took him out of jail, I think twice, to help detectives find where he had buried her. The first time he was wrong because it was 2 years prior that he had buried her, and they say that there was some hesitation on pointing out where she was actually buried, but the second time he was brought out to look for her with the detectives, she was actually found 10 feet from where he told them the first time. They did find her body, but they didn't find a head or her clothes. While he was in prison, he stated that he, in fact, actually killed 10 people, not just the 2 women and the soon-to-be 3, and the supposed 2 homeless men. He alleges that he would kill vagabonds and prostitutes, and instead of throwing their bodies in the river, which is how the 2 homeless men were found, he decided to bury them and use their meat.
For what?
These are Joe's words. The words, "I'm sorry," will never come out, for they would be a lie. "I am more than willing to give up my life for what I have done, to have God judge me and send me to hell for eternity. I just enjoyed it. The only thing I feel bad about in any of this is I didn't get to murder the 2 motherfuckers I was really after. And that's my ex-old lady and the bastard she got hooked up with."
Damn. Talk about rage.
He sounds lovely. He also, supposedly, since there was never any proof of this actually happening, he said that he would eat the meat of those he killed. And with the extra meat he had, he opened up a pit stand, made and sold burgers with human meat mixed in.
Going back to almost a big chunk of our cases, I still don't know why the fuck is it that people think it's okay to feed other people human meat that they kill.
Sharing is caring.
That is insane. This is like the fourth, fifth case that we've covered that people do this. I did not realize that this is common amongst
It has to be
monsters.
like yeah, of course it's a devious mind, but it has to be that, right? Like I'm doing something so evil and I'm going to give it to people who are innocent and have no freaking clue. But inside I am laughing. What do they call it? Rolling on the floor, dying laughing or whatever. That you're feeding innocent people humans.
Yes.
They probably think it's like the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
That's crazy to me. That I didn't realize there were so many cases of monsters who do that. That's crazy. That's scary.
They should just keep their own nasty shit to themselves.
Yes.
He would also say, Joe, he said that the human body tastes very similar to pork. If you mix it together, no one can tell the difference. And I'm pretty sure we've said this before, but another name for human meat is long pig.
Yes, we actually have covered this before.
Yeah.
Because of you cannibal loving episode people.
Big majority of people
honestly.
people like the cannibal episodes. So now I don't know how much of this I truly believe or if anybody believes, honestly. Oh, yeah, people do believe it because people talk about it. But I don't truly believe because he would lie about the dumbest of things. Plus, those other people that he allegedly killed, the 10 other people, there was never any evidence found. Joe Roy Metheny was sentenced to death for the murders of Kathy Ann Magaziner and Kimberly Spicer. And I guess since he took her clothes and purse and buried them after she died, for some reason, that's the reason they gave him death.
Really?
Because of that, I don't know. I tried reading the court documents. It's very difficult to read, but because of that, it's what it seems like they're giving him death for. If they took that out, he wouldn't have gotten death.
Why?
Because he meant to steal.
What?
Yeah. Or meant to burglarize. But I don't know. To me, that was dumb because I was like, wait, he did it after. It was almost like he didn't think about robbing her in the first place. It was just more of like, oh, this is a lot of stuff. Let's bury it separately. I don't know. It made no sense to me. I don't understand law.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get that either.
But in 2000, again, it was overturned. This is not the freaking first case where in 2000, life gets overturned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And instead of death, he was sentenced to 2 consecutive lives. But in 2016, 2017, he was found dead in his cell. They never said what he died from, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And that was my maybe true, maybe not story of Joe, the cannibal burger making man, Metheny.
Okay.
This one was weird because he lied a lot.
That's true.
So I don't even know if he actually sold, people's meats.
Okay, so in this case, yeah, there's no evidence to
There's
back
no
it up.
evidence. But it's so funny how many other channels actually say that he was a cannibal and he actually did. And I'm like, no, there was no proof. So
Show us the evidence, you guys.
Yes,
If you guys think.
Yes. It's just, I don't know. He already showed that he was a liar as a child. So I'm like,
He could be easily lying about this.
yeah.
And we've covered this before too. I don't know what's up with people thinking that, taking the blame, or how do I say this? Like people who admit to crimes just to make themselves feel tougher or bigger than. Like we've covered this before. Like in, what was it? The Roar Cannibal, where that one random guy admitted or took the blame of killing one of the girls just so he can, I guess, have the street cred. I have no clue. Like, what is up with people like that too?
I have honestly no clue. What would be the point of saying like I actually did it? I don't even remember that one. Was he even looked at as being involved?
Yeah, he was looked at. He was arrested and everything, and then he's like, "Yeah, I did it." And then he changed his mind. He's like, "No, I actually didn't do it."
I wonder if it's like one of those things where like there's many other guesses out there too, but it's where like I have nothing to live for, so yeah, I did it. Put me to prison. Go ahead. And then when it's
so strange to me.
And then when it's getting close to actually being put away, I'm like, okay, I'm kidding. I didn't do it. I'm sorry. I want to live.
What in the world? I don't know. That one is also confusing to me. And
I
there
don't
seems
get
to be
it.
a lot of those too. A lot of liars.
A lot of mental illnesses
Yes. That there.
that can, go different ways. It's so weird. I don't know.
It is very strange.
Do you have anything to say before we end our episode?
Yeah, the one thing I will say, and I'm like scratching my head. I mean, if you're really familiar with this or a law, please maybe you can explain the fact that it was theft or tampering with her stuff that got him death is crazy to me. He killed her.
Yeah, I know. He killed 2 women
Yeah,
within like 2 years. But yeah, it was the whole that he took her clothes and purse afterwards that threw them to like, okay, he needs death. That made no sense. I
that
don't
doesn't
understand.
make any sense.
I swear, every freaking case, I just don't understand the law. I don't understand the way judges think of, like, I don't understand the rules. Is it rules that they have to go by? I don't know. I think it's whatever judge's rule is. It's infuriating.
It is very strange to me. Very.
So I'm going to leave this off with one more little saying from Joe.
Okay.
So the next time you're riding down the road and you happen to see an open pit beef stand that you've never seen before, make sure you think about this story before you take a bite of that sandwich. And with that, be well.
Be safe.
And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a great way to end it.